She is not angry. That is the part you cannot explain to anybody. She is polite. She says she is fine. She says good night, and there is nothing behind it. By the end of this, you will know roughly how long she has actually been gone. And whether the quiet in your house is the early stage of this or the late one, those are not the same problem, and they do not get the same answer. There is a name for what you are looking at. People call it the walkaway wife. And almost everything else you find tonight is going to tell you how to win her back. I am going to tell you what the quiet actually is first, because some of that advice is exactly what makes it permanent. 3 things: what the quiet is, why it started a long time before you noticed, and what you can actually do tonight. Let me start by describing your week, and you tell me how close I get. She goes to bed before you now, not dramatically. She is just tired, and it happens most nights. Your texts during the day have turned into logistics. Who is getting who? What time? Did you pay the thing? When you ask how her day was, she gives you an answer that closes instead of opens. And there is one more, and this is the one that matters most, so hold on to it. She stops starting arguments. The house has actually been calmer lately. If you are nodding at that one, I'm going to come back to it, because that is the whole video. Now quickly, so you know who is talking. I am not a therapist, I have no letters after my name, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. I am a man whose wife went quiet on him, and who came very close to losing her, and did not, which is exactly why I am not going to sit here and tell you what your wife is thinking. I do not know. Neither does anybody else selling you that tonight. What I can do is tell you what the pattern looks like from the outside, and what I got wrong inside it. One thing about the name, by the way, walkaway wife syndrome is not a medical term. It is not a diagnosis, it is not in any manual, and nobody has measured how often it happens. It is a pattern somebody noticed and put a label on. Useful, not clinical. Here is the piece of it that is measured, though. A Stanford sociologist named Michael Rosenfeld looked at who actually ends marriages. His number lines up with decades of other research. Right around 2/3 of American divorces are initiated by the wife rather than the husband. Now hear the rest of that. Initiating is not the same as causing. That figure says nothing about whose fault anything was. And it is specific to marriage. In the same data, unmarried couples splitting up was an even coin flip. So this is not a story about how women are, and if anyone hands you that version, they are selling you resentment. You are standing in the most common shape a marriage takes when it ends. And the number is not the interesting part anyway. The timing is. The phrase walkaway wife comes from a marriage therapist named Michelle Weiner Davis. What she described is this: a woman does not usually leave suddenly. She leaves at the end of a long, quiet process that her husband did not know was running. And a sociologist named Diane Vaughan documented that same asymmetry back in the 80s. The person doing the leaving starts grieving the relationship long before the other person has any idea it is in trouble. Which means by the time she goes quiet, she is very often not building up to a conversation with you. She is finishing one she has already had by herself. That is the ugly part, and it is why the calm in your house is not what it looks like. You are not given a warning shot. You are given the aftermath of a decision process you are not in the room for. And now the harder thing, which almost nobody in this corner of the internet will say to you, so I am going to. You are probably not blindsided. Blindsided is how it feels. It is not usually what happened. Weiner Davis's own account of this pattern is that these women raised it repeatedly for years. Sometimes it came out as complaining or as nagging or as another argument about the same thing. And it got filed under "she's never satisfied." I am not saying that to beat you up. I am saying it because it is the difference between a mystery and a problem you can work on. So then, why did she stop raising it? There is a name for this too, and this one does have real research behind it. Demand and withdraw. One person pushes to talk, the other one shuts down, or goes flat, or fixes it and closes the ticket, or just leaves the room. A review of 74 separate studies found that pattern reliably tied to lower satisfaction in a relationship. It usually runs wife pushes, husband pulls away, but that same review found it does just as much damage when the roles are flipped. This is a story about a loop that eats marriages regardless of who is standing where. And here is what the loop does at the end. It teaches her that raising it costs her something and changes nothing. And a person only needs to learn that so many times. Then she stops. Not because she stopped caring, because she ran out of reasons to believe it would matter. Which brings me to the one piece of research that changed how I saw my own house. John Gottman spent years filming couples in a lab apartment, and he was watching for something very small. He called them bids, the little moments where one person reaches for the other. A hand on your back on the way past. Gottman reports that the newlywed couples who were still married 6 years later had turned toward those little bids about 86% of the time. The ones who ended up divorced turned toward only about a third of the time. I would flag that turning away may be a symptom of a marriage already in trouble as much as a cause, but sit with what it means anyway. The quiet in your house is not peace, it is very possibly the sound of a woman who has stopped bidding. Let me give you something practical, and then I want to tell you what not to do tonight. I wrote down the 12 signals I completely missed in my own marriage, in roughly the order they tend to show up, and turned it into a short test you can take in about 4 minutes. It is free, and you do not have to buy anything to get it. It will give you a rough read on which stage you are actually in, because early and late are genuinely different problems. Link is in the description. Take it after the video, not now, because this next part is the part most men get wrong. So, what not to do? Somewhere tonight or tomorrow, you are going to get an idea, and it will probably be one of these. The big conversation. Sitting her down and telling her you have realized things and you are going to change. Flowers you have not bought in years. A trip. Checking her mood every single day. Or the other flavor, the one the internet will push at you hard. Go cold on her. Pull away. Stop responding. Get in the gym and go silent. Make her a little jealous. Become high value. I want to be blunt about that second category. Those tactics do sometimes get a reaction in the first week, and they are how you lose a marriage slowly instead of quickly. Because think about what they actually teach her. They teach her that the version of you who pays attention only shows up when she threatens to leave. That is not a marriage. That is a hostage negotiation. And the sincere version fails for a related reason. Those flowers do not get judged as flowers. They get judged against your whole history. The conclusion is not, he loves me. It is he is afraid of losing what he has. My own version was the wallet. More money, more gifts. I tried to spend my way back into a marriage I had argued my way out of, because money was the only problem I knew how to solve, and it was the one problem we did not have. So, here is what I would actually do this week, and it is one thing, not 5. Stop asking her for reassurance in any form. No, are we okay? No reading her face. No big talk. That is the pursuit, and the pursuit is pressure, and pressure on a woman who is already deciding just forces the answer early, and in its place, start listening to her with nothing attached to it. No solution at the end, no point being made, no small hopeful look afterwards to see if it earned you anything, just her talking and you actually there for it. Then expect nothing back for about 30 days, genuinely nothing, because you are not trying to impress her. You are trying to become somebody it will be safe to start bidding at again. And that is measured in months, not in gestures. One limit on all of that, and I mean it. This holds if what happened in your marriage is years of drift and exhaustion. It does not hold if there is abuse, addiction, or somebody else involved. Those are not this. Those need a professional and not me. Last thing, and then I will let you go. Some of you are going to do every bit of this right, and she is going to leave anyway. I am not going to pretend otherwise to keep you watching. If she tells you plainly, calmly, and more than once that she is done, that is not a test for you to pass. That is a decision, and the only respect you have left to give her is to believe her. But doing this work is still not wasted. The man who learns to sit still and actually listen to somebody he loves does not lose that skill when a marriage ends. Your kids get that man. Whatever comes next gets that man. And in my case, my wife got him eventually, years late, but she got him. Take the test, then go be quiet and pay attention for a week and see what you notice.